Okay, welcome back. Time for some real stuff. We've done with the quotes. Now it's time to get involved in creating work orders. This is the business end of things. So I'll first start off by showing you how to convert a quote into a work in progress. Second of all, I'll show you how to start a new sale straight into a work in progress. Something I don't really recommend that you do, but you can do it if you like. If you know that a sale is straight away going ahead, you don't need to worry about creating a quote, then converting that to a work in progress. So we'll start off with searching for an item that you've already done a quote for, locating that item, converting it to a work in progress, and then what to do from there. Okay, very simple. It's basically exactly the same as what we've done with the quotes. There's just a couple of other little bits of information that we need to put in. So, starting from our search area, we're going to start this one on. We've contacted a customer and asked them if they'd like to go ahead with the quote. They've said yes, and we go excellent. So I locate their customer folder in the sales screen by clicking this open folder up here. It then brings it up, and funnily enough, it comes up with test customer, which is exactly the customer I want. So the one that we're going to go ahead with is the 210 Polo quote. Alrighty, so I double click on that quote that we did, that they've said yes to go ahead on. So at the moment it's still sitting as a pending quotation. We've had the go ahead from the customer, so I go over to this little button here, the convert button, and I convert it to a work in progress. Now, most of the time this screen will pop up. Every so often this screen doesn't pop up first, and you'll have to remember to go back and apply the deposit once you've done everything. This screen will pop up most of the time straight away for you. So you've got the order date, which automatically defaults to today's date. You've got the due date, which will automatically default to 10 days, 14 days, 15 days, whatever you have it set in your system as the default time frame that you do your work in. So it's saying, so what's today's date? The 24th. From the 24th it was going to put it due for Saturday the 3rd, which doesn't really help anyone having it due on a Saturday. I don't know many people that want to be open on a Saturday. So you always want to open this up and just double check when it's scheduling the job for. And whilst the customer is with you, ask them, is Friday the 2nd okay? Which, again, something I wouldn't really recommend. If it's saying it's due for Saturday the 3rd, I would always turn around and say, okay, the system's currently got it due for Monday the 5th of November. Is that okay? Do you need it before then? Normally they will say, no, that's fine. So you select Monday the 5th. It just gives them that opportunity to think about it. And if they've got sometimes they have their trade show on the weekend or something, so you would need to make it due for the Friday. But you always give the customer the option, is this day okay? That way they can't complain about it being due on the 5th of November. Okay? And then the schedule date, it's going to make it scheduled for Saturday the 3rd, which again doesn't really help as we're not open on Saturdays, most of us. Next we need to add our job box number in. So I'm just going to put in job box number 1. And if the customer's given you a purchase order number, this is where you would put it. So test. If you're not taking a deposit from the customer, which I strongly advise against, always try and get money off someone up front. As soon as money is left their hands, they're a lot more willing to do the things that you need to get them to do. If you say, oh, I'll take the deposit later, they tend to drag things out a little bit. But if they don't have details, or you know them well and you're willing to say, just pay me later, you can tick this box and it all grays out. But I would recommend that you try and get money out of them up front. A really good way to do it is not to tell them that it's a 50% deposit. You just say, look, it's $252.23, how would you like to pay for that? Quite often they're going to sort of be a little bit startled and sort of say, oh, do I have to pay everything? And you go, oh no, I need a minimum 50% deposit. You can pay it all up front if you like, or you can take, we can do 2 payments for you. Most people actually prefer to just do it in one hit. It's easier for their accounts to do 1 payment instead of 2 split payments. So give them that option to pay up front, and you'll be surprised at how many people will take it. Whereas if you start with a 50% deposit, people will always try and bargain you down from there, so you don't really have a lot of room to move. So you put in the amount that you're going to charge them. So if you're only going to charge them 50%, it automatically tells you how much that is. The payment type: cash, credit card, check, the good old American spelling, debit. Now debit is EMeBoss. EFT is a bank transfer. And then other. So we're just going to say it's a cash, and then put in who took the money. Then we're done. That's that section. That is that section out of the way. Okay, and that's realistically all you need to do. That job is now in the system, it's ready to go. All you have to do is hit save and print a production copy. What you'll see is there's a couple of little different things in the screen. In our quote section, we didn't have some of these boxes. We didn't have the payment section down here, and we didn't have balance due. So there's a couple of little differences, but it sort of does it all for you. You don't need to really worry about it. Okay, now if you want to be really thorough, you can select tubular. Apollo is tubular. If we were doing caps, you could select caps. And yes, we need a proof because it's set up for the first time. Alright, so now we save and we print. Now when we're doing quotes, you notice there was only 2 options: print quote and print quote with no totals. Now we can print a quote still. Not sure why you would, but we now have the option to print a work order, customer copy, a work order, production copy, or a pro forma invoice. So I'll show you the customer copy first, because this is obviously what you want to give the customer. So you print this out, and I always try and give this to the customer in person in the store and highlight a few items for them. Good to see my computer's still running at lightning speed for you. Come on. Sometime today would be lovely. Come on, there we go. That's better. Alright. So, the first thing I do with the customer is you run through, okay, so this is your sales order. And I go through step by step on this form with them. You have ordered a 210 JB's black polo, size large, and we've ordered 5 of them. All 5 are getting a logo embroidery on the left hand chest. Is that correct? You pause, you wait for them to say yes. Excellent. So I normally underline left hand chest and quantity of 5. You've given them an opportunity to tell you that the colour, size, position, everything, anything that could be wrong, you've given them an opportunity to correct you at that point. You've highlighted that you've showed them these things, and then you explain to them that the logo setup is a once-off setup fee, and that they have paid a $126.12 deposit. The balance due on collection or completion of the job is $126.11. The job is scheduled to be completed at this stage on Monday the 5th of November 2012, and again I underline that. The next thing I do is I say, lovely, thank you very much, we will call you when the job is ready. Again, that just takes away any sort of onus on the customer. We will do everything for you from this point. We've got your money, we've got the job in the system, it's ready to go. We will now give you a ring when the job is ready. Okay, so this is the customer version. So you print that out, you give it to them, you highlight it, they're good to go. The next thing that you do is you print out a production copy for your staff. Very similar to the customer copy, but with some subtle differences. Okay, we don't bother printing out a logo on the production copy, it's a waste of ink. And then we've got our box number, customer purchase order, and it's not urgent. Okay, so there's a few extra bits of information here. So if it ever gets separated from its box or its tub, you can always go, okay, yeah, so that's box number 1. It does happen every so often. You find these bits of paper lying around and you're not sure who it belongs to. And then down here, there's no prices on this. Production doesn't need to know the price of the shirts. They don't need to know how much you charged someone. But it's got an area so that you can tick it. When it comes in, when the stock has arrived, production can tick it. When it's been embroidered, they can tick it. Any notes that need to be completed with the job, so if you're using the hoop master, they can put on here hoop master setting 6. This and this type of backing was used, etc, etc. Generally I wouldn't put that sort of information on this. I would normally put that on the plot sheet that comes out of your digitizing software, but you can do it on this one as well. And that is how you create a work in progress. Very simple, but very important. Okay, the next step is if you accidentally only took a 50% deposit, yet you're going to charge them the whole amount, which is quite common again because it automatically defaults to 126.12. You can void that payment. Click on the drop down, gives you the option to void it, and it vanishes. You can only do this before you close the day. Now to reapply the payment, you come up here to deposit. We're going to apply a new deposit, and we're going to apply the entire amount, 252.23, and it was actually cash, and I was the one that took it. Dave. 252.23. That's why. Okay, excellent. There we go, job done. The next thing we're going to do is have a quick look at the purchase order wizard because of this. Now that we've created this into a work in progress, I look at my job board and it will now show up on the job board. Come on. Everything in red is overdue. This is just like an Excel spreadsheet. You click on these top ones to sort by dates and anything else. Okay, so let's scroll right down to the bottom. And there's our job down here that shouldn't be in pink. It's the only job that's not overdue at the moment. There it is. So I'm using somebody else's old database, so everything in here is pretty old, it's no longer in use. And if we close that one and have a quick look at a purchase order wizard, this will show us everything that's ready to be ordered. And there it is. There's our 5 black shirts from Tesco for test customer 1. So as soon as we convert something from a quote to a work in progress, as long as it's got the purchase order little icon on it, it will send it to the purchase order wizard. So when you're creating quotes and work orders, just pay attention to this little bit here. If it doesn't have PO next to the garment, it's not going to send it to be ordered, which can create a little bit of an issue. Alrighty. Again, if you need to change some information on here, like if that wasn't just black, it was black and red, I can change that. All I have to do, click on it, add it, take it away. Okay, good luck.